On the last issue of RPG, our intrepid villains were given an unsuspecting or an unexpected visit, like actual in-person visit by their handler, Wallflower, who said that they had to deliver a package to a supervillain who was recently set up his base in the sort of crevasse of the Arizona, um, the Grand Canyon in Arizona. And you weren't given much information other than that, but without. Oh, and you guys had cake for breakfast because it was Gucky's idea.
Oh, yeah.
Um, that's important. So you guys go over to Arizona. You get into a bit of a argument with one of the guides there, who you believe might be a little racist against blue people. You're not sure at this point, but despite her protests, you're still not convinced that she isn't prejudiced against blue people. Um, but anyways, through some quick thinking and some sharp words, you guys managed to gain access to the Grand Canyon, sort of more restricted, sort of lower levels, pretending to be law enforcement. And after getting immediately lost and blowing up a golf cart, which is used by the guides to drive around, um, Sam stumbled upon a hollow part of the wall and fell right in, leaving a Sam-sized hole that Hammer and Gucky eventually found. And you were actually inside the cavern sort of network of the Grand Canyon, and you managed to find what you probably thought was the base. It was literally a steel door with a doorbell. You ring it, you go inside, but lo, it was all but a trap, a honeypot. For this was all a setup by four heroes who I don't know if I used the description last time, but they were kind of like in this setting. They were kind of like the Beatles of the superhero world. Like superheroes were around before them. Like
Oh,
music was
they're
around before the
British?
Beatles. No, I mean as in they were sort of the trailblazers. That sort of is the reason a lot of modern superhero stuff is in place today in this setting.
And
I'm
they're
just sort of
British.
And they're
no, they're
all
not.
British.
None of them are British. I promise you.
And they all have the weird helmet haircut.
I was just no, I was just comparing them to being sort of like again, they were trailblazers in the industry. Um you had a man with electrokinesis, you had Electric Ace, or just Ace. A woman who can she basically has the powers of like DC's Plastic Man or Marvel's Mr. Fantastic. Um she can sort of warp her body into weapons and actually change how she looks and sounds to be other people with her sort of rubberized sort of body. Captain Inferno, which sort of explains itself. He's angry and he can shoot fire out of his hands. And Mindbender, who is a very logical, sort of cold, not cold to his teammates, but he's a very straightforward, logical man with the power of of like sort of manipulating people's minds as well as your standard psychokinesis or lifting things up with his mind. And you were not expecting these four to be as tough as they were. They've been trapped in a time displaced sort of loop for 10 years. So they've had a lot of practice fighting entities that would probably make a normal person go insane. And yeah, they're just tough. These are your toughest guys. This is the price of being like this is the price of supervillain stardom. Is you're gonna have to start fighting more guys that are like this where they're actually competent. Which might be bad news if you guys don't clean up your act. I'm not trying to be mean, but like, you guys are kind of, you guys are kind of
Nah,
shitting
we're
around
fucked.
sometimes.
I think we're doing really well.
Yeah. You were doing well, but you guys are still getting your stuff like heavily. You guys are still getting your shit heavily rocked.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's up to interpretation.
I mean, if you want to look back at the last episode, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Those rocks look pretty light when that one guy was handling them. So I
yeah,
wouldn't
all
say
right.
heavily rocked.
4
Yeah,
HP
sure.
and 4 HP and a dream, baby. Let's go.
Sure, you again, but yeah, okay, but still, in a general sense, these guys are tougher than anything you fought before. And after a while, Electric Ace decided that they needed some breathing room, so he asked Mindbender to, to move the battle elsewhere. So Mindbender picks up the entire room that all of you are standing in and fucking rockets it out of the Grand Canyon like an elevator out of hell and out into the open as the four walls of the room sort of fall to the side. And you guys are now standing on the more like flat sort of mesa part of the Grand Canyon. And that is where we left off. This is basically the phase 2 is what the sort of scenery change is sort of about.
So wait, are we flying through the air?
No. We just Mindbender
We're like
just
outside now.
yeah, you're like on top of the Grand Canyon, like like the flat like desert part.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That changes what I was gonna do on my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ace decided that they
Okay, then.
needed. Yeah, Ace decided that they needed some breathing room because you guys were fighting like just in a single room in the middle of the cavern network for like all that time.
Their whole plan to lead us there.
Yeah.
Then we got there and they're like, I hate fighting here. This was a bad idea. And they take us outside.
Well, they weren't expecting you guys to survive as long as you have. So, again, you guys, I'll sort of stop there. But I'm not saying you guys have to run. But if you guys feel the need, you need to run. You can roll to escape if you want to. But this isn't a force loss. This is just more of a these guys are tough sort of fight. So strategize. Hope you guys have had some time to think about what you want to do. And we will start from the top with Hammer.
Alright. I will start my turn off with my carefully formulated plan that I've been coming up with for the last 2 weeks.
Which is smash with a hammer.
Which is swinging my hammer at the person closest to me.
I've got a similar carefully planned thing.
I'm gonna say the closest person to you is Mindbender. Hammer. That is the one that put you to sleep, too.
This is perfect. I get to beat up the nerd.
Yeah, the nerd that can fucking move things with his mind, so watch out.
Yeah, I mean, I can move things with my mind. I mean, my mind tells my arms to move things.
True!
So basically, I do the same thing.
You know what? Now that you put it like that. Yeah, if you're gonna just swing your hammer at him, that is a classic brawn melee.
On melee, I'm weak, so I'm gonna pre-goon this. One drive. 2 drive.
You know you want to.
Looking at this video in the watch together, and I was trying to figure out what the Guaro button does.
The Guaro button?
What's the Guaro button? What?
You know, skills, attack, etc. and Guaro.
Oh, on the actual video.
Oh. Oh, I didn't even realize. Let me see. Okay. So you go to swing, Hammer, and you do manage to make contact with them, but at the last moment, Mindbender is able to sort of stop He's able to stop your hammer from reaching its full velocity. He still gets hit by it, but he sort of like... You sort of ran up behind him, and you did get a bit of a jump on him. So you did a bit of damage to him, but you also saw him, like, before you could fully finish the movement, your entire body freezes. Like, the hammer makes contact, and he hits him in the chest, he goes up, but his hand throws up, and before you're able to, actually, friggin', golf swing him with Oshira, it stops, so he takes damage, but he doesn't take, the full extent that he might have. And he goes, "You lumbering oaf, you will pay for that."
Brain Man is sturdier than looks.
At least you're, well, You're at least observant on a basic human level. I'll give you that. And
Hammer very observant. Not as much as Oshra, but likes to keep eyes open.
So I just want to say Mindbender's always wearing goggles, but I mean, you could probably feel his eyes rolling off of his head at this point. And he also always sounds like he has a perpetual headache, so he just kind of sounds annoyed at all times. Okay, we're going to go with...
Wait a minute. Can I use my non-com action to take off his goggles?
I mean, you can try.
I'm gonna try.
Let me look at what that would be. I'm gonna give you... You need to do an agility... athletics. So it's one success.
I'm gonna use another goon point.
Okay. You take off his goggles, and his eyes don't look weird or that different, but he has to cover his eyes from the sun. He's like, oh, you bastard.
I put on the goggles.
They have a red tint to them.
Much better.
Yeah.
Hammer was worried about sand getting in eyes.
Now you can very clearly see Mindbender's full expression, and he actually looks angry for once. It's interesting. I'm gonna tell you these as players, but Mindbender isn't easily angered, but Hammer, you've managed to cross the line in the short time that you've known him, so congratulations, you win nothing. But I just want you to know that you get the satisfaction of you're one of the few things that piss him off in this world on an emotional level.
I want a sick ass pair of goggles is what I want.
Hell yeah.
I'm keeping those.
Okay. Now it's Electric Ace's turn. Ace is going to go over to Gucky, and he's going to again, he kind of does like a starting like sprinter stance. And then he sort of railguns himself towards Gucky. He sort of puts his arms as sort of an X pattern, charges up electricity, and he's going to try and sink both of his hands into Gucky's body and just unleash extreme voltage of energy. So let's see. Okay, Zed, Zagaki, you take 2 points of damage as you just feel like your entire body just be bombarded with shocks that just run up and down your body as the water is sort of conducting. Every molecule of your being is just being electrocuted at once.
Shit, he's an electric type.
And I'm gonna say you KO. I'm not gonna say you're dead, but as you sort of knock out, as you sort of KO, you just turn into a puddle on the ground. Electric Ace just sort of puts both of his hands in sort of finger guns and sort of he blows on them as if he just fired them as the smoke from the electricity sort of dissipates. And he goes, "That's how you do it." And for his non-combat action, he's going to take Gucky's sword.
What?
What the fuck?
And since it's an elemental sword, he goes, well, I wonder if it does what I think it does. And he tests it out. He charges up the blade, and a blade made of pure electricity shoots out. And he goes, I like this.
I adjust my goggles and go, hey! Hammer sees Lightning Man steal that!
Oh, bit hypocritical. I just saw you steal something from my friend. An eye for an eye. Or a pair of goggles for a sword.
Yeah, but we're the bad guys. We're supposed to steal.
Hammer does not give Lightning Man his eyes.
Well, I'm a puckish rogue type, so I do what I want. And he sort of does
I
a thing
think you guys should arrest him.
Captain Inferno just shakes his head and goes, "No, this is pretty on brand for him." As Ace sort of he sort of like tosses the sword handle up in the air and it spins around and he catches it by the handle again. And now it is your turn, Sam.
Definitely gonna try to regrow some of my less intact limbs.
Okay. Go right ahead. I just realized Ace should have gone before Hammer, but that's okay. I'll just put two of the heroes' turns next by each other for this turn. But you go ahead. Give me a intelligence biology to heal yourself.
So that would normally be 5, so that'd be 3. And all.
I was gonna say maybe you want to do presence, but I realize that's the exact same role as intelligence biology. It doesn't matter.
True. Yeah. I will take that.
Yeah, go ahead. Heal yourself for 2.
And,
You are now at full health. That is crazy.
and now I would like to see if I can understand Gucky's biology enough to try and heal him as well.
Okay. That will also be an intelligence biology.
Except now I'm healthy.
Excuse me.
Oh shit! Let's go.
Alright.
Okay. I'm drawing a blank. How do you plan on healing Gucky? You just got to give me flavor. I'm gonna heal. You can heal him regardless of what you say, but I'm trying to figure out how does Sam figure out Gucky's biology?
I guess I'll like. I would definitely try like feeding him some used limbs to see if that like.
I'm gonna say from where you are, you throw a bunch of your sort of discarded limbs past Inferno and Ace just kind of goes, ugh, it's really friggin' gross.
See
And
if
then
it like breaks down into something that's usable for him.
And then, I'm gonna say with your new limbs, they're nice and sturdy again. You throw them past these 2 heroes, and they land on the puddle for Gucky.
And I say for flavor too, I pour in some of the flour to like thicken it.
Yeah.
To thicken the goo.
The limb cake.
Yeah, you basically feed Gucky limb cake, and Gucky, you're gonna wake back up with 4 health.
The fluid starts like bubbling, and the limbs like dissolve into my goop. And then which limbs did you give it?
This is important.
I feel like arms are probably the easiest for him to like maneuver and like pull off.
I reform, and I've got 2 arms, and I've got 2 more arms for legs. Doing like a handstand.
But you do notice that your sword has been taken. As Ace is just sort of smugly holding on to it.
Sorry, Gucky, we gotta play the hero this time. They just stole your sword.
Oh, thanks, Sammy. That was still really yummy, thank you.
Yeah, anytime, I guess.
Oh, you mean it?
Yeah.
How much did that heal me?
4.
That went up 4.
Oh, nice.
He got 4 successes, so you've been healed for 4. Okay, now I'm gonna do stretch factor and then Captain Inferno. So stretch factor, she's gonna mostly focus on Hammer, because Hammer is trying to take out Mindbender. Let me think. Oh, okay, I got this. Hammer, give me a wit athletics, real quick.
All right, that is rounded up to 2 cards. Yeah, I'll dramatic failure that.
Works for me.
I think we're not like in a tense situation or anything, right?
No.
Yeah.
And this isn't gonna do too much damage, but it works for me for the flavor text. So Hammer, you're too busy playing with the goggles. You're like, oh, these are so nice and high quality.
I'm like stretching them out and snapping them against my face.
Every time you do that, like Mindbender is like cringing.
Goggles almost hurt face.
You've left a mark around your eyes at this point.
Yeah, I've got the big like octopus rings around my eyes.
Yeah.
But you don't notice this. You don't notice. You're too busy having fun that you don't notice that something sort of goes under your feet. And as you look, Stretch Factor's arms have turned into like a big sort of like construction equipment size like shovel. And then with like extreme strength, which you didn't even know she had, because she normally looks like sort of like a, I'm not gonna say dainty, but she doesn't look like an incredibly athletically built woman. But she is a superhuman. But you're not expecting this as you're thrown up like 25 feet in the air. Because she just sort of lifts you up, and you dramatic failure. You didn't have enough time to react. And you get a good view of the canyon for like a split second before you come rocketing back down to the ground and taking 2 damage. Landing flat on your ass. Like, you know when you land on like your tailbone part of your back?
Ooh.
Yeah. You dramatic failure, so it's gotta hurt a little bit. And you just have the wind knocked out of you, and then Oshura just lands next to you. You flinch for a second, thinking that Oshura might land on you, but she lands next to you. I'm not gonna be too mean.
Good thing Hammer wearing protective gear, right, Oshura?
Oshura,
I stretch the goggles out and snap them against my face again.
I'm gonna say for specifically failing, like almost getting a Joker. The last time you snap them, before it hits your face again, they stop in midair as you're on the ground, and Mindbender takes back his goggles using his telekinesis.
Oh, that's not gonna last, buddy. I'll tell you that for free.
Goes, if you've worn out the strap, I will have to send you the invoice for my replacement pair. And, they go around his face and he goes, that's much better. I can focus again.
Hey,
and
give goggles back to Hammer.
They were mine initially, you lumbering oaf.
That not how Hammer remember it.
Jesus Christ. Okay. And stretch factor for her non-combat action. She sort of goes over to Mindbender and sort of they seem to have they actually seem to have become prepared. She hands Mindbender some sort of like concoction that Mindbender possibly created himself, and he drinks it, which heals him a little bit. You can see a bit of vigor kind of go back into his body after his chest was like...
No one told me these guys had concoctions.
I mean, he's a scientist. He can do stuff, all right? And
they
Electric
have a
Ace...
wicked brew.
Yeah. Dude, he's a scientist himself. He's somewhat of a scientist himself.
He's somewhat of a scientist himself.
But,
Mindbender's definitely played by Willem Dafoe in my headcanon.
Oh, that's actually, I would say, a more subdued voice. Because he's not a bad guy, but that's actually not a bad casting choice. Fuck, I'm gonna think, that's my voice going forward, thanks.
Huge get that we got Willem Dafoe for this season of RPG.
Huge! Dude, he's
really
right here.
It's nice of us to give him the opportunity.
You just hear like the Discord, like someone else joining the call. Huge. But yeah, and now it is Captain Inferno's turn. He sees that Sam healed Gucky. He's like, oh no, that guy must be the one who can actually think about things. And he's just going to sort of fly up into the air with his fire powers. And let me see.
Oh shit, he's ulting.
Damn, he fucking critted.
You hear him yell supernova, spread out.
He actually kind of does. Well, he more uses Human Torch's like F ability. Sam and Gucky, you're like, oh, you okay, Gucky? It's like, yeah, and you guys are talking, and then all of a sudden you just feel the air around you two heat up as both of you take 3 damage as Captain Inferno slams like right next to both of you like a fucking meteorite, and like the sort of fiery explosion like sort of dissipates outward a bit, and both of you are caught in it. Yeah, he got a crit. I'm sorry, that was... He was just mainly aiming for Sam, but he got a crit, so...
Zoinks.
Both of you are feeling the burn right now. And he goes, how you like that?
I don't think I'm actively feeling much of anything at the moment.
Yeah, but... Listen, I'm not going to say Captain Inferno's stupid, but he's definitely, like, the most hot-headed of the group, so he's not really... paying attention. He's like, yeah, now I'm at full temperature, baby! And Ace chimes in and says, Inferno, could you refrain from frying them to a crisp before we hand them over to the authorities? He goes, huh? Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, that was just being cooped up in the cave for too long. Woo! And he takes a deep breath, and, like, fire just sort of dissipates out of him. Because now that he's free and in the open air. And, now it is your turn, Zedge.
So first of
You're
all,
barely holding on, and Sam just got fucking, like, literally got hit with, like, a meteorite, basically.
I'm gonna, cradle Sam in my arms and then, like, open his mouth and hold my finger.
Do the reverse.
And then, drip some Gucky fluid into his mouth.
If it works one way, surely it'll work the other.
Yeah.
Gucky makes a little arm out of slime that falls into his mouth.
Captain Inferno's like, ew, what the hell are you two doing? And that is going to be an intelligence biology on your end, Gucky. I would say Gucky makes the most sense as a healer if you just want him to be able to make, like, healing juice out of himself. You can do that going forward.
Well, let's see how
that's part of the reason why I spec'd into bio.
I'm 1 HP, I don't have that many cards.
Well, at least you didn't, like, Joker.
Not enough.
I can still Joker. Damn.
Okay,
Only
full. Okay. Damn, only full health? That's crazy. Yeah, Sam, here's how it goes for you, Sam. You get Gucky, you two are talking, everything's fine. You feel really hot for like a moment, and then really hot for an even bigger moment, and then you're out like a light, and then a second later you wake.
Drowning.
Yeah, you feel like you're both drowning, and you feel like you've got sunburn on you at the same time, and you sort of cough. You sort of like cough out the Gucky fluid that you don't need as you sort of sit up a bit in Gucky's arms.
Well, I'm gonna say, like, I cough it over myself, but it's like acting like an aloe vera for the burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
yeah, it's like an aloe vera. And, you're like, oh god. Or if you want to roleplay what you say when you sort of rocket back awake.
Yeah, it'd just be kind of like,
with my other action, is there any slime on the sword?
There's a bit left, but you can try. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna form into a spike. I'm gonna try and see if I have control of the goop that's on the sword still. And,
okay.
form that into like a hard spike.
Control.
Give me a presence biology for that.
Wait, Gucky's gonna fucking form his goo on the sword into the fucking mechanic from Blade's sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys anteing this, or are you keeping this?
Am I still anti? Is that accurate?
I don't know who's anti.
I was anti last time, so I know it's not me.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm fine with it being Zell.
Yeah.
Up to you if you want, Zijin.
I don't really care either way. It's
Maybe
only
we'll
one
save it for some,
success, I'm down to just keep it.
Okay.
You are at 1 health, but...
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, it's not okay. I'm not. This isn't going to hurt Gucky. I'm just going to say that.
All right, we'll let it roll.
Yeah. So by jokering, the spike does work, but Gucky, it was the wrong bit of goo that you focused on, and it just sort of like spikes out and misses Ace completely. Goes, whoa, close one, and then he sort of rips the goo off and throws it on the ground and steps on it with his shoe.
I thought you were gonna say he hardened the wrong bit and just got a boner.
Ew. No thanks. But
I thought you were gonna say like it stuck to his hand further, and no, it's like impossible to get it off him.
No. I'm just gonna say that you focused on the wrong bit, but for one success, you do now know that you have limited, if a bit hard to sort of focus control on.
This is valuable knowledge.
This is valuable knowledge moving forward. But, yeah, it just doesn't work. And now, since you've done both your actions, it is Mindbender's turn. And, Mindbender, he's just had enough of everything. So, he is going to... What is he going to do? He's going to... That's it! Team, get around me! And for his non-combat action, he's going to create a force field.
Hammer moves in.
Yeah, you don't move in. You're blocked out psionically.
Hammer is part of team. Mindman must be talking to him.
Yeah, they're all in a thing now. He goes, oh, you're gonna rain down, says Ace? It's time to rain down. And you just see Mindbender get on the ground. That was his non-combat. This is combat action. And the whole canyon you feel like is shaking. As you're not sure, but all three of you are kind of anticipating something. And even the team looks worried, which is why they're glad they're inside a psionic sort of force field. And you can hear a bunch of rubble moving, and you guys look over to the nearest like cliffside for the Grand Canyon, as rocks upon rocks upon rocks of various sizes, like boulders, pebbles, anything, even a tree or two, are like they've now all like shot up from the canyon, and they're swirling around where everyone is standing, and it is going to hit everyone for 3 damage.
You number.
Yep. As you guys are just pelted with debris, and you have no time to react. And you all taking 3 damage, you all black out. And the last thing you see is sort of Ace just sort of smugly, just going like, see, it wasn't that hard. And Mindbender just goes, oh, that took so much out of me. Don't talk like you were doing all the hard work. And then, nothing. But you're not dead. I'm gonna focus that.
Unless...
No.
Campaign's
This wasn't...
over.
This wasn't a force loss, but I'm afraid that he also got a crit. I'm sorry.
You got 9 successes? Because that's traditionally what you would need to split 3 damage among 3 people.
He got pretty close. But, yeah. That was like the sort of like... I don't know. I'm not gonna pull back the curtain, but... He did get a lot of successes. Like, I did not stack the deck, but holy fuck, I was not expecting that many successes. And you all wake up, and you're all... Alright, everyone give me a pure presence roll to see who wakes up first. I'm gonna say you're all at 1 health.
So that's 2 cards.
Yeah.
High card ace. Beat that.
Did you roll Edge?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So Sam, you're still kind of like half asleep. Dingle or Gucky and Hammer, you both wake up. First off, Hammer, Oshra is nowhere next to you, but you're all handcuffed with like these kind of crazy looking like high tech gauntlets.
Oshra
That
did not wake up.
Oshra did not wake up. All these like high tech gauntlets that
hold on. Yeah, Oshra did not wake up.
Yeah. These high tech gauntlets, which I'm gonna say, Gucky, you try and be like, oh, I can slip out of these. You can't. These you can kind of gather that these gauntlets can turn off superpowers.
No.
They are inhibitors. And Hammer, somehow that inhibits your strength.
Cuffs.
You cannot break those cuffs.
You can't break those cuffs.
There is an armed guard. There's 2 armed guards.
My mic completely fucking cut off me doing the fucking yell that guy does.
I mean, that's kind of...
didn't even light up.
Yeah. So, and Hammer, I don't know if your super strength... Your super strength... Is your super strength, like, supernatural, or is it you just being really strong? Like, could a normal person reach Hammer's strength, is what I'm asking.
I definitely wrote the character as just being strong as fuck.
Okay.
But I did derail a train by hitting it with a hammer. So I don't know. Maybe that's up to interpretation. Maybe that's up to interpretation whether or not it's actually superhuman.
Whether or not it's superhuman.
Maybe Oshra is superhuman.
These cuffs are, well, whether or not superhuman, these cuffs are like just reinforced with like tungsten steel, and they're pretty thick and heavy. And you hear a voice go, you're finally awake. No, I'm just kidding. You don't hear that. But you are in the back of an armored vehicle with 2 guards with rifles at the ready. And Sam, I'm going to say you wake up at this point too. And you realize when you wake up that you cannot grow any limbs. And your feet have also been handcuffed. You're the only one with feet on your handcuffs, just so you can't grow anything out of your legs. And
I'm like I'm immediately turning to like the person driving the front, being like, Why does driver not put Oshra in same car?
Your hammer?
Which car did Oshra go in?
What are you talking about? Your stupid hammer's right there, and it's underneath the seats of of the guards. Like, they're not sitting on her, but she's sort of been haphazardly tucked under the seat.
Driver not understand. Hammer not asking about hammer. Hammer asking where Oshra is.
It doesn't matter. You're all going to the icebox anyway. Now hush up. And he sort of ignores you.
Icebox? Is there ice creams there?
One of the guards sort of chuckles. He goes, you guys don't know about the icebox? It's a prison. It's a prison just off the coast of Quebec. It's where he keeps some high-end... It's where he keeps some sort of mid-level supervillains. Until they're tried to court.
Do you keep ice creams there too?
No. Driver did not answer Gooman's question about ice cream.
There ain't ice cream where you're going. Fucking you scumbags. Thank God those superheroes were there to stop you. They're the true souls that keep our society running. They're so brave and inspirational, unlike you lot.
Hammer does not care about being inspiration. Hammer just wants to crush weaklings.
Other guy sort of goes, yeah, I got Stretch Factor to sign her trading card for me. He tucks it back under his sort of vest.
Driver men very stupid. Not understand Hammer's questions.
I don't care about your questions. You're gonna be locked away anyway. You're the filth of society. You're gonna feel like it soon.
Hammer kind of instinctively like smells under his armpits when he says that. Hammer not smell anything.
I mean, To be fair, you were fighting in the desert. You probably smell a little bit, Hammer, realistically. Unless you're putting on, like, heavy-duty deodorant every day.
Goki's gonna call for Eobard.
The whistle is not there. Neither is the sword.
I'm gonna
Neither
shout.
is... Huh?
I'm shouting.
Hey, calm down! Oh, and the gravitational displacement gun is also missing. You've all been stripped of your weapons, your items.
Do I still have my 20% off Six Flags coupon?
No, they took that as well.
Fuck!
Oh, yeah.
They're totally gonna use that while we're in prison. This is fucked up.
It's so true. It's so true.
And you're not sure how long you guys are out, but given that you're going to Quebec, but you were in Arizona, you're surprised when you're surprised that you hear the driver sort of stop for a moment, and you can kind of see, not really, because the driver and the actual part that you guys are like in the back of like an armed sort of like moving truck, basically, like like a SWAT, like, you know what I mean, for like for transporting like really dangerous criminals, you know what I mean. So the driver is kind of separated, but you can still see through the small window, like he talks to someone, shows his badge. And you hear some shouting, and after a while, the truck stops, goes into reverse, and the door opens, and you guys get your first look at the icebox. And it is currently snowing, because I've decided that. And you guys are kind of being shuffled in. You get a glimpse of some supervillains, some monstrous in appearance, others look like normal dudes, normal people, but all of them do have similar cuffs and collars that you can pretty much assume, yeah, no one is able to use their superpowers because of these inhibitor sort of devices. Guards behind you.
So when do we get our free phone call?
You're not getting anything.
Also, drivers forget to take Oshra out of car.
And as you say that, there's a different guard that grabs Oshra, grabs the sword handle. So you know Ace didn't keep it. He didn't get to use it, which makes me sad.
On the contrary.
And in the crate of the goods that are going to be sent to the sort of evidence locker or storage locker, the gravitational displacement gun, Eobard's whistle, and yes, even the Six Flags coupon gets put in that crate.
Yeah, Sam's just going to say, on the contrary, now that we're in Quebec, according to the laws here, we do get our free phone call. Thank you.
That is true. They did pass that superhero They did pass that supervillain rights act a while ago. After that,
you can get your call when you're settled in. We gotta book you first. And one of the guards sort of doesn't hit you, but he kind of moderately shoves you, Sam, from behind to sort of keep the line moving.
Hey, this doesn't look like Goki's house.
Yeah, Sam did not know if that was true. He was just...
Driver took us to wrong address.
He was just saying it no matter what. So.
Let me look this up. Do Canadian prisoners still get a phone call?
I'm positive they do, actually, but in this world, you can say anything.
You have to Google if Canadian supervillains get a phone call, actually.
Family friends are encouraged to maintain contact with inmates throughout their sentence. This can be done through visits, phone calls, and letters.
What about conjugal visits?
We're not getting into that. Do I get collect calls from jail in Canada? This is interesting.
That's important. I'm definitely gonna do that.
But yeah, you were all shuffled inside. These guys are off somewhere. They're not anywhere near here.
My point is, even if it wasn't true, he was going to lie and try to.
Do you want to roll the lie to see if these guards actually believe you or not? You got to get booked first. You're not getting that call right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a wit, lying, my dear friend.
I am at 1 health. Yeah. Oh, nope.
Ooh.
GP that.
There we go. Okay. Well, one of the guards stops and goes, Fine. We're gonna book you first, then you get your phone call, alright?
Thank you.
As long as you'll shut up. Now keep moving. And some of the guards in, like, the yard, some are out in the yard at the moment. It's cold, so they're not really, like, doing much other than talking to each other. But, some of them sort of, get glances at you. Some sort of get a second glance at Gucky, but not really, because there are, like, guys, like, again, you have, like, monstrous, like, like, villains like the Killer Croc or Clayface type. You got a few of those in the joint as well. So, monstrous, like, non-human villains aren't really uncommon here in the icebox. But yeah, y'all get shuffled in. You get to do the classic, like, you're all holding up a sign that, like, has, like, the prisoner numbers, forward, sideways, fingerprints. They scan you to make sure you're hiding nothing inside of you. Gucky, when you go through, like, the X-ray scanner, you feel a weird tingle, but they did it just because they're not sure if you can actually hide things inside of you or not.
What did they see?
All they saw was water and small bits of cake and hand, like arms. Nothing crazy, but one of the guards sees, like, a half-dissolved, like, hand, and he goes, like, and he has to, like, stop himself from throwing up. Not knowing that was Sam's idea, so it's not like you're some kind of weird cannibal that's going around and eating people. But they don't know that. They get your real names, which it'd be funny if Gucky's name was just Gucky.
It is, as far as he
Sam
knows.
Hydra and Hammer. Hammer, do you have a real name?
I didn't
like
come
a
up
real
with,
name.
I didn't come up with one.
But would he canonically have, like, a real name? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I feel like if he did, he would not know it.
As long as I don't have to confirm it in or out of character, let's say yeah.
Yeah, they actually look through, like, an international database and find your real name. Because you didn't even know what it was. You've been called Hammer for so long. And, they're like, oh, Hammer's a much easier name to say. Alright, move on. And then all of you get, like, the classic, like, prison jumpers. Y'all get sent through, like, the shower, like, the sort of, the decontamination showers.
It is in that order as well, so we have to shower in our prison jumpers.
No, in the right order. I'm sorry, I just forgot. But, and you are going to all three share a cell. There's a fourth bed there, but it's not currently occupied. But, all of you are settling in, and then...
Hammer's like, which cell did Oshra go to? Hammer would like to visit during free time.
Your Hammer? That's an evidence lockup.
No, Hammer did not ask about Hammer. Hammer wants to know where Oshra's cell is.
Your large weapon is an evidence lockup, inmate.
Hammer's name, not inmate. Hammer is Hammer.
Don't worry, Hammer. They're saying she's free.
Very good. Means Oshra will break us out soon.
You want that phone call or not, inmate? The guard says to Sam.
Sure do.
Alright, follow me. And you solely get let out into, like, sort of the public visiting area, which also has phones. Like, not pay phones they have to pay for, but, like, they're wall phones, they're landlines. Goes, you got 5 minutes.
Alright. Yeah, I don't know who specifically I would call, but I'm sure I could flip to see what kind of connections I can.
Alright, give me a presence, streetwise.
Great flip for me.
You still have drive, by the way. I don't know if you've been...
I will.
We're getting close to the end, so if you just want to use up all your rolls, so you go ahead, my man.
So that's 1 actual 2 doom point, and I pulled an extra for drive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And I needed it.
Who would you know? Well, We established at the very beginning that Jailbird's dead, so he's kind of off the list. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes.
Wallflower never directly gave you his phone number. He gave you the Goon app.
Yeah. I'm sure there might be some old, like, Jailbird buddies I might have had.
Yeah. You know what? Let me pull up a list of villain names here that I have.
Jail buddies.
Yeah.
That's not what they call themselves, because that doesn't sound hardcore enough.
I don't know. They've all been to prison. That's pretty hard.
Let me see. Who haven't I used yet? Oh, here we go. This will be nice. A new character introduced. You remember one of Jailbird's closest friends who was a supervillain who had the ability to turn himself into smoke. He had smoke physiology powers. Named Miasma. That was his supervillain name. You can vaguely remember that he used to come over, him and Jailbird would like drink, they drink beer and watch the game. He was like Jailbird's closest friend, and you haven't heard from him. He didn't even really show up to the funeral, which surprised you, but you think it's now time to maybe cash in a favor. At least a favor in your boss's name, hopefully. And you remember, couple of rings. And then you hear sort of a gruff, sort of like 1930s sort of distinct sort of like mobster voice. Goes, yeah, Miasma. Say who you are immediately, because there's not many people I give out this number to, and if you don't tell me right now, I'll have to come kill you.
Yeah, it's Mandrake in the old icebox.
Mandrake. Oh, Jailbird's goon. Mandrake, how you doing, buddy?
Been better. Yeah, here in the icebox with a few of my...
How's Jailbird doing?
Oh, you didn't get the news, huh?
No, I've been waiting. We've been missing our football nights.
Oh, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but they got him.
Oh. Jailbird's singing?
Yeah.
I bet he's looking up at us right now. The bastard. I'll miss him.
We all do.
So what, you working for someone else now? Or you calling for a resume? You want to work for me, or?
I wouldn't mind that if you wouldn't mind picking me and a few buddies up. They're currently at the icebox.
I know that I've heard you multiple times, but it's really funny. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want you to know I wasn't ignoring you as DM.
No,
I was ignoring you as character. Oh, you're in the icebox. Oh, that's a bit far away.
Yeah, we tried out some solo work. I'm sorry to be a hassle, but you're the one guy I knew I could count on from the old days.
Sounds of it, you're at least luckier than Jailbird. Who got you? Who did you in?
Oh, those bastards! Mindbender, Ace, I think they called them. There were some other ones like.
Those four. I was one of the first villains they ever fought. Yep. Take pride in that. They never catch me, though. I just slip away like smoke. That's why they call me Miasma, baby.
Yeah, that sure would have come in handy. Unfortunately, we were kind of backed into a corner on that one.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, it's gonna take me a few days to get up there, but I will do what I can. And you know what? Tell the boys to get ready, because we're staging a jailbreak. And I got some friends in the icebox, too, that need help. So I'll just, two birds, one stone, all that. I'm just going to need some time to get sort of prep work done. So try not to get shanked in the shower until then.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, when the time comes, you'll know when I'm there. All right. See ya, Sammy. Give my regards to Gucky and Hammer, and sort of hangs up. And the guard notices that. He's like, oh, your one call is over, prisoner?
Yeah.
All right, back to the cell. Dinner's in about 2 hours.
And back.
We're going to find out what it's like here in the icebox. Next time on RPG.
All right.
And there we go. Now I just gotta ask. I'm sorry that last combat was really tough, fellas. I hope that wasn't too demoralizing.
No, it's fine.
No, I wasn't demoralized.
It wasn't demoralizing.
I just remember it was in my head that Dingo was like, "Oh, it's a forced loss," and I didn't mean it to be a forced loss. I just meant that these are 4 really strong fellas.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of
forced loss. It was just people too strong for us to fight.
You know, a bit of humble pie. You guys are rising to the ranks really quickly, so it's kind of like when you go to like a new area in a game, but you're not like at the right level yet.
Yeah,
it's like you know you get
like that.
I don't know. I just hope that it didn't feel too forced. Is what I mean. You know what I mean? Did it feel forced at all? I'm sorry.
Nah, it's fine.
It felt a little forced, but it's okay.
I kind of wanted to have like a jailbreak arc. That's kind of my main. I really wanted to do that.
Very valid.
If I can pull back the curtain a bit, even if you guys had won that fight, which was plausible, you guys would have went home and would have been surrounded by like superhero like super like anti-superhuman like SWAT teams, and would have been taken to the icebox regardless. I thought of this arc. I wanted to do it, but you guys are all good. So, why don't we go, Dingle? What were your 2 favorite moments from your 2 favorite teammates, cellmates, I should say?
Got one for Sam that I really want to say, but I feel like I should save it so that Zedrin can say it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead,
nah, say it.
It's the fucking arm cake, dude. I love
the arm cake.
I loved the arm cake.
I love arm cake.
Hell yeah!
Make that a.
That's a shirt. That's the next.
That's a shirt.
That's the next RPG merch drop. I love arm cake. And then for Gucky, I also like that he. I just like that you guys had a moment of just like healing each other back and forth. Like it was immediately reciprocated with Gucky. And the visual of Gucky like cradling Sam in his arms was very funny to me.
I had the scene in mind where Merrim's getting revived by the red guy.
Wait, yes, that's perfect.
And he's dripping his life energy into him.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's mine. Those are both. That's spread out among the 2 of them.
All of you are getting 3 points, by the way.
Oh shit.
Bit of an apology for being late, and again, I know you guys aren't super upset, and I'm sorry if the steering wheel felt a little bit taken near the very end. I'm not gonna do that all the time, but I kind of had a really important. I kind of had a really fun idea in mind. I hope you guys aren't mad about that.
I would say just like give us like if we want to flip for stuff to like take it off course. It can be fun.
I'm still kind of getting used to that. I'm sorry.
So it seemed like you had kind of like a thing in mind to put us in this jailbreak scenario regardless.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like we didn't need to be put into a fight against people that we couldn't really have like realistically come out of.
Sorry, guys. This is like the worst session ever. I'm sorry.
No,
we're killing you after this. You better sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just don't be afraid.
Fine.
Don't be afraid to like let us ruin everything for you.
I know. I won't do that. I'm not gonna do that much. I just in my head I was like, oh man, it'd be sick like a super villain like prison breakout arc because that's like always fun.
That will. I mean, no, it is going to be a sick arc. I just feel like there were better ways. There were better ways to bring us into it.
Yeah. Again, the fight wasn't unwinnable. I'm sorry. I won't dwell on it. I'm sorry, guys.
That's...
Should I like nerf some future heroes?
No, no.
Just play it by ear.
Well, I wasn't talking about the fight itself. I just meant the prison stuff.
Yeah. Fair enough. I promise. Next session, you guys, when you're in the cell, you're gonna have complete control as you wait for miasma to show up.
I got some ideas.
You can start a fucking food fight in the cafeteria? I don't know. Do prisoners do that? Or is that just something from, like, cartoons?
Something we're gonna be doing.
To be fair, I think it's been done in comics. But,
I hadn't even thought about a food fight.
True.
Alright, I won't dwell on it, though. Next is... Who the fuck? Zell, your turn. I'm just going by the order in the,
Sounds good.
sheet.
Gotta give one to Gucky, part for healing me with that great visual, and another part for just the long range goo control. I'm very excited to see where you take that.
This is a new development.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of good things you could do with that. And for Hammer, I love the visual of him just stealing the goggles, and
I'm getting those fucking goggles back the second we meet Mindbender again.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm just confirming that even though he had it when he fainted, Gucky, you have not permanently lost your sword to the smug jackass that is Ace. I wanted to make that clear because it was kind of ambiguous, because he was holding on to it when the fight ended. Actually, I wanted to mention that. I'm upset he didn't get to use it, because that was actually going to be a reference to the very first time I drew Ace. When I first drew him, he did have a sword made out of lightning. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a sick as hell comeback that only I'll get because it's only my character. And then he didn't even get to do it. So, he might go for the sword again if you guys fight, if there's a rematch. Just letting you know. Hold on to that sword tight, Gucky. But, Zell, did you say your two, or did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
Okay. Legend, what were your two favorite moments?
I liked Hammer's banter with the guards on the drive on the way up.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
And he's a constant worry about where the hammer is.
I think you mean Oshra. He knows where Hammer is.
He knows Hammer knows where Hammer is. He was wondering where Oshra was.
True. And
that's my favorite bit.
I need to make Hammer talk to more people specifically so that can come up more.
I will say, Hammer, you are the most frustrating character to talk as an NPC. I know that's what you're doing on purpose, so good job, but it is so frustrating.
And I really liked Sam's character playing in the phone call with Miasma. Despite not knowing anything about the character, I thought that played out really well.
Yeah,
I felt like you're talking to an old friend.
Yeah, he's another supervillain character that I had in the back burner. By physiology, have any of you seen like gameplay of like infamous Second Son? The guy that has like the neon smoke powers?
I'm familiar with the game. I don't think I've seen that part of it.
Okay. Well, basically,
Miasma
can just like turn himself into smoke or just emit large quantities of smoke out of his body and control it. So
yeah,
give him kind of a gangster vibe. He's basically always like smoking like a cigar. But yeah,
you painted the picture pretty well, I think.
I was pretty happy with the name though, Miasma. I actually went out of my way to find out like what's actual like smoke or air related term that sounds kind of like weird.
Definitely shorthand calling him Asthma as a nickname.
Bro, I didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
That's a sick dude. He could fucking cough and shit too, and so people nickname him Asthma.
Yeah. I was like, shit, man. Because I was like, it couldn't be Wallflower, because Wallflower would be like, if you get caught, you can't bring the shit back to me, otherwise I'll kill you. And 2, we never actually gave you his number, so. Oh, and Sam, your phone's been confiscated, so you're not gonna get any
I figured
Gooner.
as much, yes.
You're not gonna get any Gooner notifications for a while until you retrieve it.
Well, he will. He just won't be able to read them.
True. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fellas, that if the ending was a little disappointing, but I'll try and do better.
No.
No, you're good.
I'm still getting used to being DM. This is still my first campaign, so.
No. I also don't want you to think that like I'm like being a dick and like trying to like call you out on something.
No, you're giving me advice. I understand. That's you want y'all give me just advice. Y'all have DM'd before me.
And I think this outcome is perfectly fine for how we ended the fight. But I think if we did beat them, it would feel a bit shallow, I guess. But
I would have just you know what? Going further, I'm gonna be like, all right, if they win, I'll just have to figure out a different way. It's fine without it being forced. But yeah, this is gonna be a really good arc. And keep in mind that y'all are in Canada now, so you're rocking by Canada laws. I don't know what the difference is, but
we're gonna need to fucking convert all of the measurements from metric to imperial.
Listen, Hammer is now spent. Hammer is now spent with OUR instead of just OR. It's disgusting. If you spell gray, you got to spell it with an E, not an A.
Do you guys do the OU thing in Canada as well? I thought that was I thought that was just British.
No, it's we do it here in Canada. So like flavor, color. It's all OUR. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was specifically a British thing.
We don't go like as far as the Brits. Like we don't go like aeroplane.
Yeah.
But
crazy ass like 1920s.
No, that should confirm. You guys don't actually say aeroplane. I've heard you say airplane.
You can do either. I'd say aeroplane is like
I mean, either are acceptable, yes, but
I would also say that sounds like something like when you talk to older Canadians, how they still say Z instead of Z or something like that. Like a lot of younger Canadians will say Z instead of Z.
I'm kind of like mixed on that. Like I'll say Z occasionally.
I just default to Z, but we also do the thing where if you spell gray, it's got to be with an E, as in E for Europe, not A for America. That's how I've always remembered it.
It's a good mnemonic.
That's a good.
We definitely use A over here.
But
yeah.
And listen, I was gonna make a joke about converting your goon cache, but I'm like, no, that's way too much work. Fuck that.
How many loonies and toonies is 106,000 goon cache?
About 350.
It'd probably be like 140-ish.
Yeah, about one. No, not about 3. You know, it's about 350, give or take.
Yeah, I just know it's like about 30% more.
But yeah, and you know what? That reaction is good, Dingle, because you're in the worst place in Canada. You're in Quebec of all places.
I know. I didn't want to say anything. We do also have to deal with.
No, you're allowed to say that. Yeah,
you'll have to deal with French people as well.
Listen, the rest of Canada hates Quebec. Let's just be honest here. But just keep that in mind that you might be. Is it
true that in Quebec they call KFC something different than like the rest of the world?
Ew! What?
That I fucking hate that shit.
Is it because it's like poulet?
It's like poulet.
Yeah, because poulet.
Kentucky or something. I don't know.
Listen, Quebec did one good thing, and that was invent poutine. But that's all. That's all I'm giving them. That's the only credit I'm giving them. But no, I'm just saying like.
No, they've got our maple reserves too, don't they?
Oh fuck! Those fuckers have our maple reserves.
You guys fucked up. You put them in like a crazy good position. They've got the syrup. They've got the poutine.
Once you guys escape, you're heading for the maple reserve.
They've got all the bargaining chips.
Once you guys escape out of here, you're heading straight to the maple reserve to hold hostage the entire Canadian economy.
Yeah.
And then Gucky's just gonna drink it all. And then we're just gonna enter a Great Recession immediately.
Gucky fucking fuses with the entire maple reserve.
Damn. No, but No one's gonna remember, but I got some interesting characters. In mind. Oh fuck! I just realized you guys are the supervillain person. I got to think of like at least 3 supervillains for you guys to interact with.
But you were gonna be like, no one's gonna remember Quebec when you guys are done there.
That could be true.
I wanted the name. I wanted to use, specifically. It's in Quebec because I wanted to use the name Icebox. I thought that was a really awesome name for like a jail, for like a themed
It is a
jail.
really good name. It's an especially good name for a jail in Canada.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's the Icebox, and then there's the Devils, and then you guys in character would know it, but there is a supervillain jail. This is like this is where the big guns go. In the built in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, called like the Devil's like hold, and that's where the friggin' like the world-ending supervillains go, basically.
That's fucked up. You can't even get out of that either, because once you're out of jail, you're in the Bermuda Triangle.
That's literally the point. It's supposed to not be. It's easily escapable. I also was playing with the idea because I'm kind of doing like a theme where like there's like different jails for different classes of villains. I was thinking of one that might be like in space, like it just sort of orbits around Earth. I think that'd be an interesting locale for a superhero setting.
You're going to space jail, buddy.
Yeah, I think the Devil's Hold is for like all the like the fucking walking nukes of the supervillain society. Icebox is for like you guys were like, yeah, you guys are dangerous, but something happens to Quebec, then we can just clean it up before it spreads further out of Quebec. And then the space one, I don't know. The space one might save it for like these guys literally have to be put in stasis, otherwise the entire world's gonna end. But you guys are like in the mid-range prison, is what I'm saying. Because sorry, you're not cool enough to go to Devil's Range just yet, fellas.
Damn, we're mid.
You're mid as hell. Yeah, that's what they've decided. You're mid as hell.
We're having a mid-off.
Alrighty. Well, I'm glad you guys had fun, and I promise the next combat will not seem.
Right, stop saying it now, please.
Okay.
You're fine.
I don't even know. It'd be interesting if you guys like start a fight in prison. You're just fighting other supervillains for once. I should probably consider that. Prison fights happen all the time. Who's starting the prison riot?
You really could be any of us.
All of the above.
True. And Gucky, you can just make a. Oh no, your powers are inhibited. But if you get shanked, nothing's gonna happen to you because you're just water.
He's got retard strength.
True. All right, fellas. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Sorry it was a little shorter, but I'm still glad we were able to get the session in. I was feeling really sad because I did not realize my errands were going to go that long. I went to one place, and the one place I needed to go didn't have the thing I needed, so I had to drive across town to the other location where they had the thing that I needed. So that pissed me off, like, royally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit sucked. But I hope you all had a good time, and
Alright.
while you're waiting...
GG.
Wait, let me look at the... Oh, no, it was almost so close. If next Sunday had been the 10th, that would have been my birthday. So that would have been so cool, having RPG on my birthday. That's on the Monday. Damn.
Close.
But, yeah, I will see y'all fellas later, and you guys have a week to sort of... I don't consider it metagaming, but I don't know if you guys actually think about what you're gonna do. I used to think so when I was on the player end.
I would try to think. Sometimes.
I mean, you guys got someone on the outside coming to help you, so it's not like you guys are stuck here forever. But
yeah,
think of some fun shit to do in prison, because I'm definitely next session's definitely just gonna be like do whatever the fuck you want in prison before my asthma gets here, because let's just have some fun with it.
I definitely find it easier in the moment when I can like play off of what's already been done.
I think I just overthink things. That's just me as a person, though.
Yeah.
But anyways, y'all gonna have fun. Oh, I should also say, I forgot to say this, but you guys can't call for Butland Deemer. I don't know if any of you thought about that, but even though you try and say his name, you don't seem to have that.
I figured we were too far.
Your connection, well, your connection's just been severed because of the inhibitor collars. It seems to be one of the things. You can't call upon demonic forces when you have like the inhibitor devices on.
And they really thought of everything.
We're out of his jurisdiction since we're across country lines.
That's true.
You have to pay like long distance to contact him, and who has the money these days?
Yeah, they froze our funds in the icebox.
Oh wait, hold on. How do I Goon Cash? How do I edit this? Here we go, Goon Cash. There we go. Count's frozen. Sorry, fellas.
No.
Anyways, who's